Tower inspections are a vital part of maintaining and preventing equipment and tower failures. Full detailed inspections should be performed on an annual basis, while overview inspections should be performed whenever you're on site or climbing a structure. Detailed reports should record all information needed for your customer to accurately understand the condition of the structure and if anything is needed for repair on the structure. This may vary depending on your customer or your company's requirements. Our goal while performing inspections is to prevent failures before they happen. Many items need to be examined while performing an inspection. That will vary depending on the type of structure you're working on. Here are a few key items that need to be taken into consideration during the inspection process. The first thing you will want to examine is the general site conditions. This includes verifying that the tower and anchor points are free of outside obstructions such as trees, shrubs, and any other type of interference that may cause damage to the structure over time. Verifying that the site is draining properly and water is not collecting around the foundations that can lead to erosion over time. The next step is to move to the tower base and the foundations. Verify that the foundations are above grade to prevent accelerated corrosion on any steel and that there's no cracking, spalling, or shifting occurring with the concrete. Check that there's no tower base bolt corrosion, and especially if the structure is a monopole. Look closely at the base to ensure there is no cracking around the flange or the base welds. This is a stress point that could lead to failures if the structure is overloaded or not manufactured properly. Ensure that the tower base grounding is properly secured to the steel and terminated to the ground ring or the ground rod, and that the ground leads are not broken or torn. If the structure is an AM tower, thoroughly inspect the insulator for any cracks in the porcelain that will weaken its integrity. Before you begin your climb, verify that the safety climb is properly tensioned and visually inspect that it's properly secured to the cable guides throughout the entire length of the tower. Also perform that same visual inspection on any feed lines or SO cords to ensure that they're properly secured to the tower. Sometimes it's easier to spot any defect in vertical runs by looking up from the base of the structure at a different angle than when you're climbing. And now on to aerial tower inspections. When ascending up the entire length of the tower, pay close attention to all the tower section, diagonal and horizontal bolts to ensure the lock washers are compressed and they're tight and secure. Depending upon your customer or company requirements, they may require a 10% or more bolt check throughout the entire length of the tower. Along with all the bolts, you'll want to look closely at all the tower members such as the horizontals, diagonals, and legs to ensure nothing is damaged, loose, or deformed. While performing your ascending tower inspection, at the same time you'll want to be paying close attention to all transmission lines. Each line is typically secured at the top of the vertical run by a hoisting grip. Ensure this is installed if specified by the manufacturer and properly secured to the tower without causing any physical damage to any members. When reaching all antenna levels, always verify that the mounts are not damaged or deformed in any way and that all mounting brackets are properly tightened. The radomes on the antennas need to be free of damage or cracks, and all the mounting brackets should be properly tightened and not deformed in any way. And now for anchors. If you're working on a guide tower, you'll want to closely inspect all the anchor points. Verify that all turnbuckles are free from damage, safety pins are installed, and all preforms and thimbles are installed and properly set. A plumb and tension needs to be performed to verify that each guy level and vertical plumb is within the manufacturer's specifications. This procedure may vary slightly depending upon your customer's requirements or your company's standards. If anodes are installed, voltage readings need to be checked and recorded, which will determine if the anodes are still properly functioning and not dissolved. Further anchor investigation may be recommended or required depending upon the history of the structure. When performing a tower inspection, we want to ensure that the integrity of the structure and all components are not being compromised in any way. Preventative action is performed so we can prevent issues from occurring to the structure or all of its components and appurtenances.